Hi, my name is Kristy Harrang from Thrive Today, and Chris Coursey is joining me today for a conversation on the topic of spreading or sharing relational skills. So, Chris, good to be with you today and having this conversation.
Well, thank you, Christy. Good to be here, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
So, we wanted to talk about this topic of spreading relational skills because it's something we bring up quite a bit. And Chris, I think we often find that when people discover relational skills and start learning about it, they're like, oh my goodness, where has this been all my life? And how can I share this with everybody in my life? Um, and so, can you just share a little bit more about why we talk so much about this topic of spreading, about sharing relational skills?
Yeah, you know what? Ultimately, we don't want to keep all the good stuff for ourselves. We want to share it with our family, with our friends, with our neighbors, with our coworkers, with our community, our church. Like, you know what? Joy is meant to be shared relationally, and relational skills really are that same way. They're meant to be shared. That there's two sides to this coin. One side of the coin is we learn relational skills. We work hard, we practice, we learn these skills. They could become part of our character. But the other side of the coin is actually spreading these relational skills. And that's kind of the exciting thing about learning relational skills is working with the great Jim Wilder. It was a high, value for him when we were working on Thrive that not only people would learn these skills, but they learn how to spread these skills. So this is probably one of the most popular topics I hear from a lot of people is, hey, how can I share this with my spouse or with my children or grandchildren or, friends? Just people want to know, if God's used something to touch your life, you want to share it with other people. And so I feel like this is a really timely conversation for us, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've heard a lot of people, I mean, myself and my husband included, refer to these skills as like treasures, like gold. You find something so valuable and you just want to be able to have other people have access to it. And, I was thinking about the fact, maybe you can talk more about this, but we call the skills that we teach and train in relational skills. So that term relational implies that it's not just me, but there's skills that are going to improve my relationships, my connection with others, my ability to thrive in community, in my family, in my marriage. And so isn't it kind of by nature, if they're relational skills, that we want them to rub off on the people we interact with and not just be about us growing, but the people that we're relating with?
You're exactly right. There's a natural progression that often happens where people often start out wanting to learn relational skills just because they recognize, hey, something's missing or something's undeveloped and or they're in their process of maturity and healing and they say, you know what, I would benefit from learning some of these skills. So they start out just, motivated because they know something needs to be worked on and changed in them and transformed. But you know what, after a little time of working in this garden, what happens is people start to say, you know what, this is so important, I want to share this with everybody in my life, like I want to share this with the world. And that's exciting to see that ultimately people do, often will start just, I need a few things here in my own life, my own relationships, but it quickly happens where I just want everybody to learn these skills. And as you start learning these skills, you start seeing the need for them all around you. And so it is exciting to know that like these are skills I can learn. But as you said, these I will use these with people. I will use these skills interacting with people and interacting with the living God. And so, even by their very nature, they are meant to be spread and they're meant to be shared.
Awesome. So with that, Chris, people come, they're hungry. A lot of people are hungry. I want to spread it, but sometimes you're kind of alluding to they don't necessarily know how, or they have maybe misconceptions about what that means or what that looks like. So, what is one common misconception that you hear from people in regard to sharing their relational skills with other people?
Yeah, you know what? One kind of stands out from the rest, Christy, and the one is this, that people feel like they need to know all the information and have all the answers and have read all the books and have, worked through all the courses before they can actually start sharing it. And you can almost, well, you can see their faces light up when you tell them, no, you don't have to have all the answers for relational skills to spread. We don't have to wait till you learn all the information and read the 20 books and so forth. Um, People are stuck on that. They just, I think it is a fear of messing up, maybe, or just a fear of being wrong in some way, or just a fear that something might go wrong when they want or try to spread relational skills. And you know what? This good news is, as you start learning this, you can start sharing it, and you don't have to wait till you get all the information and all the skills and all the training. That we can start spreading what we're learning, and that's good news.
That's awesome. And I was thinking about that with that. Probably struggle with this too, but a lot of times when we think we have to know everything, there's that pressure to feel like I need to do it just like Chris does it. I need to do it just like so and so does it. And that's why I need to get all the information so that I can know everything they know and share like they share. And one of the beautiful things about just sharing relational skills, we're not sharing information, we're sharing out of who we are, we're sharing out of how we've changed. And so our own journey of sharing the skills is going to be very individual, depending on our own story and what God's done in our life and how the changes happened in us. And so really, we're just called to look like us, to be like us, not anybody else, and give out of what we've received, which is really encouraging.
That is encouraging. And that's a very important point, that we are all uniquely designed by the living God to spread relational skills with our character, our personality, our presence, our examples, and our stories. And this really is good news. I myself kind of, fell into that when I first started this journey working with Jim Wilder. I tried to be like Jim in all the ways, and it just wasn't working until I started to see, oh, wait a minute, I need to be myself and learn to do this anchored in who I am and not trying to be like others. And there's a lot of freedom there. And that just, it is encouraging to think about. God designed every one of us to uniquely spread the good stuff. And so we are all called and invited to that table to be able to share it. And that's exciting. And I hope that people find that hopeful.
Hmm, that's really good. Thank you, Chris. Well, we really want to support you in your desire to share or spread relational skills. Maybe you already know you want to, you're not quite sure how to. Maybe you feel like you could use just a little support or assistance, or maybe you're still like, okay, I think this is a good thing, but I want to learn more about it. And so we're putting together an event. And if you're watching this after the fact, this will hopefully be up as an online course available to you. But I'm going to just share a web page with you. We're putting together a workshop on spreading relational skills in my world. This is going to be on Thursday, February 15th. You can go to, if you see up here, thrivetoday.org/spreading skills to learn more about it. But we really want to come around you and support you in spreading relational skills. And so we're going to be talking more about how you have what you need, and bring some encouragement to you about this topic of sharing skills. We're going to also be talking about sharing skills in your everyday life because, Chris, right, some people would say, well, people in my life aren't quite interested. They're not quite ready, so I really can't share anything. We want to talk about how you can share maybe incognito or just through the natural flow of life, in a way that will reach and touch people in your life, even people who aren't quote unquote super interested in
You
learning more.
know,
If you want to, yeah, jump in.
yeah, that's such a good point, Christy. And I think people need to hear that, because that's a big deal. A lot of us feel like, well, I don't have anybody to do this with it, and nobody wants to learn this stuff. Well, you know what? We'd say the spreading relational skills is an expression of your character and the life that God put in you. So we don't just spread the skills as a means to an end. We do it as a reflection of who God made us to be. And then there's something that's refreshing about that. It can also take some pressure off that this is just a reflection of being who God made you to be. And it's not dependent on whether people, want it or don't want it. It's just like you to spread the good stuff. And that's really what we're after here.
Yeah, that's so good. And that's going to be a big focus of our time together. We will also talk about how you can use resources or share more not intentionally, but maybe a little bit more overtly, whether it's with a friend over coffee or with a small group. And we'll be taking a little bit of time for Q&A. There's going to be some time to engage with every single session that we have where you can do some reflection, an exercise, a practice. We're going to make it really practical for you. And we just want to get together, have some fun, and dig into this topic a little bit more. So we hope that you can join us. And we're just eager to link arms with one another and see these amazing skills spread further and wider as we continue to live them out in our daily lives. So, Chris, anything you want to end us with?
Just the encouragement for everybody that, what, I think we'll all be surprised one day when we get to heaven to see what God can do with a little bit, with just some small seeds and just a little bit to work with. God can do amazing things. And that's really, that's a hopeful message when it comes to spreading relational skills. A little bit goes a long way.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chris. It's been great chatting with you. Thank you guys for joining
Yeah.
us. We hope you have a great day. Bye bye.